Our relationship started as a fight over a guy.
But it was your slap in my face that got me connected again to the right guy in our lives.
That's right. Welcome to Not Yet Christian. I'm your host, Jennie D. Whether you're curious about Jesus, new to faith, a cautious Christian, or questioning religion altogether, come on in and let's shift your baggage to a backstory with purpose. Welcome to Not Yet Christian. I'm your host, Jennie D, and this is my friend for 150 years, Chaney Nezbeth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I feel close to 150 at this point in life. Yes.
Amen.
All kinds of fun things happening as you get older.
Yes, yeah. What we want to share with you today is Christians don't have it together. We don't have it all together. We're constantly trying to improve. And there's one guy that has it all together, and his name's Jesus Christ. And he's the only guy that was on earth that had it together. So for those of you that aren't Christian yet, not yet Christian, or for those of you that are Christian and condemning yourself and feeling guilty, stop it. Stop it. So anyhow, what's up with you? What's your story?
Oh, my story. There's a lot to my story. Well, first of all, I'm a proud mom. I have 5 wonderful adult children. I have a granddaughter, another one on the way next month. And, I'm in a good place as a parent right now, but I struggle in a lot of other areas in my life. And it's a lot to juggle, just to be human. There's a lot to juggle in this life. And so trying to find resources to help you along the way, and also knowing when you need to ask for help and when to look for help. And I'm not always really great at that.
Sure. I can do it all myself. I don't need help.
I really can. No, I can't.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding.
Yeah.
So I am, fairly successful. I love the job that I have, but, there's a lot of responsibilities, and I have some struggles in my job as well. A lot of pressure on me, and I juggle, wear lots of hats. But lately, things are looking better for me. They really are. The things are looking better for me because I finally turned the corner and realized I can't do this myself. Thought I could.
Imagine that.
And really relying more on God than I think I have in probably the last 15 years or so.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is. It's and a lot, most of that had been just reconnecting with you as a friend and as a colleague, and seeing you so fired up for the Lord has inspired me to, really look back at what am I doing and how can I make this better? But how can I reach out to him? And is he going to listen to me? I'm not going to lie, kind of been ignoring him for a while, you know, like, wait until I have a real problem that I don't think I can solve.
Only the big ones.
Before,
just give them the big ones.
Yeah, the big stuff. Before I ask for help.
There's 2 Bible verses that come to mind that are all about bring me all. 1 Peter 5:7, I have this plaque with this verse on it in at least 2 rooms of my house. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. That doesn't say cast just cancer, right? Cast, the relationship problems. It says cast all of your anxiety. If you have anything making you anxious, cast all your anxiety. And what cast means in the Bible, Hebrew word, is like throw really hard. It's not like fly fishing where it's cute and you're just casting. It is throw as hard as you possibly can throw this junk and give it to Jesus.
And assume he caught it.
Yes.
Because he did.
He'll catch it. He will definitely catch it. Philippians, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And when you come to God, you tell him thank you first. There's 17 things you can be thankful for. And by the way, you can't be thankful and have a negative emotion at the same time. They can't coexist. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. So God doesn't just want the big stuff. He wants all of it.
Right. And we need to trust that he's going to answer it, even if it isn't in our time,
our process,
or we don't exactly get the answer we want.
That thing. He's going to give you what you need.
There are going to be trials and tribulations. You're going to have them. We are going to have them. But how do we overcome that, and how do we come out on the other side of those is what's important here.
And trusting God's timing. God's timing is perfect. Me taking years to come to Jesus is perfect. Me taking years to then walk the way I should be is perfect. That timing is all God's. And sometimes, and this is a lot we'll feel when we lose somebody, when someone passes away, that we're not going to get a prayer answered until the other side of heaven.
Right.
And that part is probably the hardest for people, because they want their prayer answered exactly how, exactly when. And yesterday is good timing. Get it done yesterday.
You know, I got saved, accepted the Lord in my heart in college.
That was a couple years ago.
A little while ago.
Remember back in college? Maybe we should tell them how we met. Okay.
It's a fun.
My very first memory of Chaney was we were running the 800-yard dash in East Palestine, Ohio, and I was a freshman.
I would have been a junior then.
Junior, and I was using up all the gas in my tank, sprinting like I could sprint 2 laps around the track, and blew right by her. And then we came around the last 200, and she blew right by me. Like, child, please. Yeah. And we go that far back, playing sports against each other.
Right.
Maybe partying a little bit together.
A little bit. Yeah. And then reconnecting in college. Yeah. So I remember you not being my super favorite person, and then finding out that you were transferring into college and you were going to be one of my teammates. And by then, I had already been saved. And
I'm thankful for that.
And I had put it on my heart that I thought, okay, no matter what, I am going to make an effort. I'm going to be a friend of hers. And we were.
Yeah.
And we did.
And that's God, because I was not dealing with my baggage as, actually for a very long time, but at the time, 16 to 18 years old, and was just really mean. And I had a couple friends that I would give my shirt for, and everyone else I walked all over, and I just wasn't a nice person at all. And one specific night I wasn't very nice to Chaney, and then I had to put my tail between my legs as a sophomore in college to come back to Youngstown State and play volleyball, and fully knowing that Chaney was the captain of the volleyball team. And
no pressure.
I was like, she is going to pummel me as soon as I walk in that gym. And you were just so kind. I was like, okay, they're going to wait till a dark alley moment to really just knock me where I should be knocked. I was. And so I saw the grace of God in you so long ago.
You maybe didn't even recognize it as that.
Right.
That
Probably
time.
not.
Yeah.
No, I was just scared. Because you had all the other friends, the basketball girls. I was afraid to go to parties.
I was afraid of them myself. No.
No, but thank you for that, by the way. And praise be to God for you seeing me excited about Jesus. That's cool.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so then, after college, I got married, my college sweetheart, and just really, really, we put our faith and our relationship and our kids' trust in God, and dedicated all our kids to the Lord. And I was blessed to be able to see them saved. We went to church. I like to say now we were drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking the tea, whatever, but we went every time the doors were opened. Yeah. We were in the building. It was important to us. Homeschooled my kids for a decade. I was very blessed to be able to get to stay home with my kids. So I feel like we were doing everything right. We thought we were doing everything right.
I've been there.
And then eventually, the relationship just began to start to deteriorate because, life gets in the way. The world gets in the way. I have a lot of blame. He has a lot of blame. And then we found excuses not to go to church. It was...
How easy is that? There's a bunch of them. There's a ton of excuses.
I can list a million for you. A million. I got my feelings hurt by one of the ladies in the church. Please.
I love that one.
Kids are involved in sports and a million things. With 5 kids, we're going in 100 directions. It's my only one day off. Do I really want to get up and fix my hair and put my face on? I don't want to do that. So we just, it got easier and we'll just do Sunday morning or we'll just do Wednesday night. We were doing 2 services Sunday morning, 1 service Sunday night, and 1 service on Wednesday night. Plus we were in different Bible study groups. And then we would knock one of them off and then we'd knock another one off. And then eventually we weren't going at all. And that was never a priority again for us as parents, as us, as a couple. And I don't think for a long time that I even regretted it, because life is easier now with that one less thing I have to do. And then the marriage began to dissolve. And so it was then, I will say, that I was like, I felt like I was drowning and I was scrambling for God. And, when my husband was dealing with really high levels of anxiety, I didn't know how to fix it. We both were kind of not really interested in going to counseling. But there were days that was so filled with stress for him that I had finally reached a point where I opened the Bible, and at night when we were laying in bed, I would just randomly open the Bible and thought, let me just read. I'll just read. Whatever page God turns me to, that's what I'm gonna read. And it would help diffuse the situation for him. And not to speak on his behalf, but he really felt betrayed by God, that he felt that, he prayed for me as a young man, and that what we were going through, he blamed a lot of it on the Lord. And we have since separated, and I don't know where he is with his walk right now. But I remember, though, before I moved out, and him and I had tried to find a church. There were some reasons why we didn't want to go back to our former church, new pastor, some things that were changed. And we found a few churches, but they weren't checking our check boxes. Because I had a list. I got a list.
Because they're there to entertain us.
They really are.
We are a blessing to walk in that church.
Exactly. So when I sit in the church, I expect that worship service and that prayer service it's not a time that we are exalting and worshiping the Lord. They're entertaining me.
Sure.
And you need to adequately
better be good too.
Entertain me while I'm here. Yeah. But not too much. Because I didn't come for a concert. So we did try a few other churches together, and then when, like I said, the writing was on the wall, the marriage was over. I remember having this aha moment. I can pick any church I want now. I don't have to pick something that is going to work for him, that's going to check his check boxes. Because I'm a people pleaser. I was willing to go wherever he wanted to go, whether it fed me or not. And so when I moved out, I went to a new church, and I sat in the pew. There wasn't a seat in the building. It was huge. And I wanted this time of anonymity. I wanted to just sit there by myself. I didn't want anybody to know me. I didn't want to be greeted. I just wanted to observe this building, observe this church, and have the Lord speak to me. And oh my gosh, did he.
Did you get the slap in the face? Did you get one of those?
So from song 2, I cried the entire hour. The entire hour.
Yeah, that's the Holy Spirit up in you. Yeah, I love that.
Did it take? No. I was terrified to go back. I've never been back. I had spoken with somebody whose church that was, and this was a new planted church. It was, same, but in a different town. And I knew that they were faithful to their church. And I said, oh, hey, I tried out your church and I really liked it. And I told him about my experience in the church. And you know what she said is, she goes, we've been praying for people in that church. She goes, I just didn't know we were praying for you.
That's beautiful.
But for some reason, I don't know. I don't know what I experienced, what I overcome. I was afraid of it. It was so powerful that I was afraid to embrace it. And I never went back. And I struggled with that. So I currently am the CEO of a faith-based nonprofit. I've been in this role for over 5 years. And for 5 years, I have not gone to church. And my job is praying, which is easy for me. I still speak to God, not like I should, not as often as I should, but I still speak to God. But I'm expected to be a counselor, a mentor to my staff, to the people that we serve, and in my professional life. And over here, my personal life, it is a hot mess.
So all that pressure at work, hot mess at home. Why are you not in church?
I can do this myself.
Oh, right. Yes.
No, because I sinned. I fell away from God. I didn't go to church. I hurt my husband. My husband hurt me. I have a child, the youngest, who hardly ever went to church because he was 2 or 3 when we quit going. I had all this baggage of all the wrong that I had done.
A little bit of shame, maybe?
A lot of shame. Yeah. Absolutely. And that was part of the reason why we didn't want to do counseling. I don't want to share this with somebody else. I don't want to share that. So not that I didn't think that God would forgive me for what I've done, because I know God is faithful and just, but I didn't forgive me for what I had done. And I thought, I need to get all this right and figured out before I go back. Because if I walk in the door as a leader of a faith-based organization, I can't be trailing all this baggage, because there's certain levels of expectations. You got it figured out. I'm the vice chair of a ministerial association. I got it figured out.
We call that religion here at the show. Big motivation is cutting through the religious crap, the man-made expectations, the stuff that's not biblically defensive, and get yourself together and walk in my building, get yourself together, and then come to Jesus, which is, if you got to flip that over, that's 100% not the truth. And that's a huge motivation for this Not Yet Christian, the whole deal, the podcast, the YouTube channel, is for people to understand that is not biblically defensive. And Jesus wants to take all the burden. He wants to do the heavy lifting. He doesn't want you to do heavy lifting and get all prettied up and then come see him. He wants you to call him where you are today. And I'm guilty of the same thing. I had so much baggage. Even my best friends, didn't know, and some don't know all of it still to this day. And so I completely understand where you're at, where that shame, that shame can just manifest and create that excuse list that you piled up just like I did.
Especially when I feel like I knew better.
That's
knew
the best
better.
part. Like, we have it together.
It would be one thing, I think, if I was a brand new Christian or not a Christian.
Yeah.
Not yet a Christian.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm struggling with addiction, whatever it is, and thinking I need to clean that addiction up. Well, first of all, it's way easier if you ask him to help you through it.
Step 2, higher power.
Exactly. So maybe if that were the case for me, that I didn't know better, that I didn't trust in him. And there were so many times, so often, daily even, where I can see God working in my life. And I knew that, but yet still felt like I can't, not yet, not yet. Or if I tried a couple churches, it didn't check all those boxes. So reasons not to. So it's been a struggle. I struggle with, always, I think I'll always struggle with that, is the imposter syndrome, the fact that I feel like I've been elevated to a position of leadership, while the leadership of the job, I got that. I can do that. And that's justifiable. But the leadership of the faith and frankly, having a flock in a parachurch and being in charge of that, that's where I'm like, they're going to find me out. They're going to figure this out over here.
There's nothing better than being in a church where the pastor is just real. And Pastor John Craner, you didn't get a chance to meet him when he was up here, but I just can't wait till we air his little series about prisoner to pastor. And he's real about it. And he's real about his garbage that's happening today. And there's nothing better than being with somebody that's not afraid to be vulnerable, to show that, one, you can come to Jesus anytime. And two, when you do, it still takes time and you're gonna screw up and you're gonna move backwards sometimes. I look at 2011 is when I gave my life to Jesus. And literally 2023 is where I could say I'm almost proud of how I'm walking. Like, some people will probably pick up quicker than that. That was me just fighting like my heels in the sand and Jesus just playing tug of war with me. And what the crazy part about it is, if you do the easiest thing, which is let someone else handle your baggage, how hard is that? Right? Like, if you think physically that's the easiest thing to do. And that's another motivation, is I don't want people to wait till they do all this research and start, miss out on 5, 6, 8, 10 years because they're just not quite ready. There is no ready. There's no readiness checklist. There's no go live checklist. There's no go, no go meeting. It's just yes, say yes. And in the description, we have a say yes to Jesus. There's a link there for you. If you ever feel a tug and it's time for you to start walking and say yes to Jesus, we have a short video there that kind of walks you through it and next steps. And that's, Measurably More 320 is all about helping the not yet Christians, the brand new Christians, the Christians that backslid, which sounds familiar. And they're all free. And that's all of this is, if you think about it, I have to stop kind of going, what was I thinking? I lost so much time. And to get past that part too. It's the self-condemnation and some of what you learned back there in the rearview mirror as a young kid and some of what you watched as a young kid. And so I just want everybody to come to Jesus right this second. I like that, like you said, even your own walk has been started off very slow, where mine was super powerful. Like bam, bam, bam. I'm in, I'm go. Let's go for 20 some years. I think that it's important for, those who are not yet Christians and new Christians to it's okay to go a little slow. It really is, because I think that's his intent for us, is have some faith in those small things, little things. Like when my kids were little and they would lose a toy, or I lost my keys, we always prayed first before we sought. That's amazing.
Open the eyes.
Yeah.
Too many people think, well, what I have to pray for is when I have a family member that has cancer,
Yes.
or I'm sick, or I've lost my job and I
Yes.
need to rely on God. No, you can start small and you can start to build your faith. He already has faith in you. He already knows your path and knows where you're going to be. But it takes a little bit of time sometimes for people to have the faith. So once you realize, I can really ask God to help me find my car keys, and that he will answer that, then when you start praying for the bigger things, the things that are much more impactful, it isn't even about the faith in it, because you have already learned his faithfulness, that he will answer these prayers. He will answer them. You just have to ask. He's going to answer your prayers, but you got to ask. He wants you to believe in him and have the faith in him. And so with you recently, like I said, with us reconnecting
last August,
and I've been able to share with you, and it's nice to be able to have somebody close in your life too, that you can kind of unload some of those burdens that you're carrying. And interestingly enough, though, sometimes through the course of my work day, because most of the people that I work with are Christians and have faith, while we all go to different churches. None of us are the same denominations.
Right.
We all go to different churches. We all still have that level of faith. And but I'm the boss lady. I mean, I have signs on my desk. I have coffee cups that say the boss lady. I got to be in charge. I've got to be the strong one here. I've got to deal with the crises. I've got to be the complaint department. I will protect them. And the amount of times over the last few years, especially during this, separation. I mentioned to you too that our nonprofit was very actively involved in the train derailment that happened in Ohio.
Right.
There was a lot of pressure on me, and I would have some of the, I hate to say it like this, the lowest people on the totem pole on my team that would just look at me and say, "You need a hug." And that's it.
Done.
Now we're crying.
Yeah. Now you're being vulnerable and kind of transparent that you don't have it all together. What it says in the Bible, 2 Corinthians 12:9, but he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." Remember, Chaney, we're talking about our weaknesses. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses so that Christ's power may rest on me. In other words, I will never be good enough or strong enough. But go ahead and pile on a little bit of Jesus and see what happens. And that was 2 Corinthians 12:9.
And that was
perfectly fine.
That was God's way of using other people to fill up my cup.
Yep. Yeah.
And then I came and, like I said, we reconnected in August. And then recently, in this year, you said to me, "You know what? Just give God a week. 1 week. Let's see what happens." And I thought, all right, you're right. I act like my life is so busy that I don't even have time to open my Bible, that I don't have time to pray, that I don't have time to get in the devotional. Oh, I prayed over lunch at work today. I'm good. That's good.
I'm good for a week.
I'm good. Yes. So I did. I was like, all right, I'll take this challenge. 7 days. I can do anything for 7 days. And so I did. And I think we saw each other like 10 days later. And I come in like a brand new Christian. Like,
you had me in tears. I was like trying to keep it together because I don't want to show too much joy, but I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. And that's God working through someone else. I can't say that I came up with that. It was my voice. But God's like, you need to nudge that girl.
Yeah.
She's been your sister in Christ, whether you like it or not, since you were teenagers.
Right.
And just the joy over you and the 700 pounds of weight off your shoulder, like your shoulders left your ears, and it's not it doesn't just happen overnight, but when you took a step of faith, you were already in faith, but you took a longer step. I think instead of this cute little step, you kind of did a long jump maybe and said, "That's it."
I think so too.
That's it.
Because on the tails of that, I really purposed to find a church. Now, I take that back to say that, do I think that every single person has to go to church? Do I think that you can have a walk with God outside of church? 100%.
Sure.
I really do.
Speaking of getting your butt in a building and being in church, there's a Bible verse that Matthew wrote about Jesus meeting you there. Matthew 18:20, for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them. That doesn't mean it has to be a church building. So if you're not comfortable going to church yet, get together with 2 or 3 friends, open the Bible. Jesus will come with you.
I think it's important, though, if we surround ourselves with other believers. And for me personally, I need to hear the word. I love the pastors who when they preach it, they're also teaching it. They're not just reading it, but also saying, look, they say, this is my interpretation. I'm human.
Right.
This is my interpretation. It's up to you to try to get yourself into the word.
Right.
And see how God will speak to you through the word. And so I knew I need to get my butt back in a pew.
Yeah.
I need to do that. I need that for my own personal journey, for my walk, for my faith. And so, but I got limitations.
I remember them.
So I'm like, okay, I got check boxes. And right now, I don't really want to get up on Sunday mornings. So I'm going to need to find a place that has Sunday nights and Wednesday nights. And since COVID, that's a little bit more difficult.
Right.
Churches aren't meeting as often as they used to. And so I thought, okay, that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And I'd even for a minute thought about going back to my old church, because I do know that those are evening services. And I thought, no, there's a reason. And I had watched during COVID a few videos of their services. And I thought, no, that isn't the person I am now. And so I'm in a new town now. And so I found a church online. And, I read through what do they believe? What Bible do they use? When are their services? Let's just give them a shot. And let's go on a Sunday night, because I'm testing them.
That's right.
I'm going to test them, because Sunday night, Wednesday night, that's when real church happens. Sunday morning, that could be a really good production.
Yes.
That's a show. Yeah. They practice that.
I love it.
What are we doing on a Sunday night?
Yeah.
Because it's all about me and what I need, and not glorifying God.
No.
And, but, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So sure enough, I go in on a Sunday night, and I thought, wow, this church is really, this is going to be my church. But I'm going to need to now go on a Sunday morning because
test all the flavors.
I got to test all the flavors, because what if it is a big, concert with 12-piece band up front, and for some that's
I love
great.
It. I love it.
Yes,
I love
that level of worship.
Yeah.
Really feeds you and prepares you for the word.
Yeah.
But me, I'm the opposite of that.
Hymns.
I want hymns. I want old school music. I want 50 minutes of preaching and teaching and 10 minutes of music.
Yeah.
And others want it the other way around. So I did, and they were wonderful, and they've really, really embraced me. And I feel like I have found a home. I've been to all their services now, and I've been excited. I had my pastors meeting yesterday, and I was able to share with them that I have found a church, because these pastors are my friends. Some of them are my bosses. Some of the pastors are on my board of directors, and I have shared with them. I haven't been to church. I don't go to church. I'm leading in this role, and I'm seriously lacking in where I need to be in my walk and in my journey. And do I have it figured out? Absolutely not.
No, me neither.
But Sunday was a really impactful morning. I am using, we're in test mode with the app right now, and I'm on the 21-day challenge for loneliness. And Sunday was a lonely day for me. I don't know why. It was a little bit more lonely than normal. And I was up early. I went to the 8 a.m. service. I stayed for this, Sunday school. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay for the next 10:30 service. And I thought, oh, don't do that.
They're like, Chaney, could you get out of the building?
Could you just leave already? Just leave. And they have a coffee bar there. And so I was getting my iced coffee, and somebody introduced herself to me, one of the members of the church, and she's like, "Oh, you're the way station." And I was like, "Don't do that. Like, don't throw titles on me. Don't I am the. No, I'm not. I'm just me."
Yeah.
And we chatted a little bit about my job, and then she said, "Pastor," which I haven't really shared much about my personal story at all with many people there. But she said, the pastor said to us that, you're going through a divorce right now. And it was two women standing there, and they go, so are we. And we are going to start
a small group.
And that was it. Now I'm crying.
There you go again.
Wanted to leave. She had me in her grip. And I just kept saying, I'm sorry, I gotta leave. I gotta go. I gotta leave. I can't do this. I can't do this.
Man.
I am the strong one. I am the leader.
No.
How dare you make me vulnerable? How dare you rip that bandage off? The lobby's filled with people. I'm drinking my cute iced coffee. How dare you?
With a messy face.
With a messy face. And she just kept, there was no, high level of empathy. It's okay. It's okay. It wasn't that. It was like, girl, we got this, and we're going to do this together.
And I'm not letting go of your arm until you agree to it.
Until you agree to it. Until you get it together. Because I would have run. Yeah. I've been running. I'm really good at running.
Me too.
And
Jesus is faster, which is good. Thank God, Jesus is a faster runner than me.
Yes. Yeah. And so she held on, and it was rocky. And I just kept apologizing, because that's something else I do.
Yeah.
I'll take all the blame.
No.
And I said, I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. I said, I'm usually not a coward like this. I usually have my stuff together. I don't mean to do this. I'm really sorry. And by the end of it, I thought, oh, I hope she calls me this week. Let's do this now.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Okay.
running away to running towards.
Yes.
I forget who said this, but there's a reason God put our tear ducts in a place that everybody can see when we're crying.
Oh.
He could have put them in our armpits,
Yeah.
But he put them right here. So people know when you need somebody, when you need something, when you just need a hug.
Right.
And sometimes when you need a slap upside the head, which is usually how I
Right.
am motivated by a little more of than a hug. But another thing about Immeasurably More 320 is sometimes people want to come to Jesus privately. They don't want to be, hey, where are you from? That will chase some people away. And so we want a place where you can come quietly, you can come privately, you can take your own pace. We'll give you the resources you need to start walking with Jesus. And yes, I'm going to say, get your butt in the Bible, get your butt in the building, because you need to be surrounded by people that love you, especially those of us that have lots and lots of baggage, and we're trying to transform that into our backstory with a purpose. Another verse in the Bible, not doing this alone. We are not here to be alone. When God created us, it was the Trinity. God was there, Jesus was there, and the Holy Spirit was there. He's never, ever, ever meant for us to be alone. We're meant to be in relationship, but we want you to be in relationship however it makes you comfortable. So on the app, there's a church finder. I highly recommend starting off with a non-denominational church that is lots of music, great pastor, and not where someone's going to make you fill out all these cards and call you and insist that you be a part and join and do Bible study. You should do all of that stuff, but we want you to come to a place where you're comfortable, because the last thing you need is to just be out of your skin. And by the way, trying to give your life to Jesus. And so that's another thing that we like to offer. And again, everything involved, all resources with Immeasurably More 320. Our goal is free forever.
Right.
I don't want money to be a reason that you're trying to deal with anxiety by yourself or with science only and not science and Jesus. And so what would you tell a not yet Christian, knowing your story, and knowing my story and how we're so much the same but so different?
Right.
We've got lots of not yet Christians dipping their toe and they're curious and they're not trusting because Christians have hurt.
Right.
Have hurt us.
Yes.
Churches have hurt it. Pastors have hurt us.
Right.
And we want to provide a place that is safe and, safe to start walking with Jesus without all this hurt in this past maybe that someone has had in a church. What would you say to a not yet Christian?
I would say that first and foremost, you do not have to be perfect. You don't have to be close to perfect. Matter of fact, he was here and spent his time with the sinners and the broken on purpose.
Yes.
And so he wants you to trust in him, to be the person, to be there for you. So many people feel like they have no one. And, but we can't go to church until we've got it all figured out. And that's backwards thinking. You really need to go. So go, just go.
If you land at a church that makes you feel like you're supposed to get it together, then walk out and don't go back. Don't go back.
That's right.
There are Christians that will hurt people. I mentioned it before, a bipolar Christian, where I was wonderful to some people and just, the Bible says that the tongue is either life or death. And I killed a lot of people spiritually and emotionally. And don't let bad Christians like us get in the way. It doesn't matter what group you're in. There's bad eggs everywhere. So Don't let that be your excuse that person, I don't want to be in that club because of that person. You're never going to find a club that's perfect. And so we screw up. And sometimes these bipolar Christians, that's me, maybe they're dealing with stuff, and maybe they just need, hey, is there something I could pray for you today?
Right.
So I just don't want these reasons that are valid for you to prevent you from living what we get to experience every day.
We're all human.
Yeah.
We all have flaws, and some of that comes out in a way that is can be hurtful to others. And sometimes even the overzealous and excited for you can be a little too much. Yeah. It can be, and that might not be your fit.
Right.
So like me, I kept trying. Now, like I said, I was in church for years and years and years, and I knew what I liked and I knew what I wanted. But I kept trying until I found the right fit for me. Mm-hmm. It was okay. Some of my struggle was I have so many friends that are pastors that I felt like their churches probably could be a good fit for me, but what if it's not? So I don't want to go, and then I don't go back.
Lunch.
Exactly. And then I didn't go back. So that eliminated a bunch of churches right off the list that I could potentially go to because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. Mm-hmm. I worry about everybody else but me. What would they say? What do they think if I'm there, if I'm not there, if I miss a week? So many things. Can't go there.
No.
So I got to try something else.
Yes.
So, and I do praise the Lord that I did find a church. Yes. I'm really excited. So don't give up.
Yeah.
Keep trying. And also don't expect, I hate to say it, don't expect a miracle right out of the gate.
Yeah.
You may get one.
Mm-hmm.
You might. And your life may be changed immediately, but it takes time.
Yes.
It takes time for him to mold us.
Right.
And we have to be open and receptive to it.
Yeah.
And there are going to be challenges along the way. Absolutely going to be challenges on the way. But you need to pray for wisdom. The Bible tells us that when you pray for wisdom, he will give you wisdom.
Yeah.
And you've got to trust that he is in control here and let him take control.
Yeah.
But don't be disappointed or discouraged that, well, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought I would feel different. And I thought I would walk the walk and talk the talk, but I still want to do the thing. The
your
sin
nature
and
your sin nature,
and the temptation. We all have that, and we'll always have that. Mm-hmm. I have given my life to the Lord, and I still sin.
Yes.
I still ask for forgiveness, and he does forgive me for those sins. So don't expect that it's going to change, and maybe you will. Maybe you will. Maybe that is the path that he has for you. It could be.
Yeah.
It really could be, and it's so freeing. And then again, trust in the little things. Give him the little things. So that you will have more faith when you need to ask for the big things.
Absolutely.
You'll know without a doubt that he is going to make a difference. And start looking for the changes and start seeing the changes. My 1 week challenge.
I love that you did that.
I trust in the Lord.
That was God just going, bleh.
And the things that he opened up to me, and I think the biggest one was finding a church home for me. That was the biggest thing. But I was like a brand new Christian. Guess what he did for me this week?
I know. You were so excited and still excited. And another thing that I hear that breaks my heart is when people say, he doesn't talk to me. God doesn't talk to me. And for not yet Christians that are like, that's weird. First of all, I'll say it over and over again. Get out of your way. Don't let your own limited understanding try to figure out supernatural. Let's face it. God is supernatural. He's omni-everything. And so I challenge you, if you are saying that he's not talking to me, I'm not hearing anything. Sometimes you'll hear a voice. I haven't. It's always stuff on my heart. 99% of the time when he's talking to me, he's putting something in my heart, he's putting something in my mind, I'm having a dream about something. But I think if we shush more, it, which you're coming from two talkers.
Yeah.
We like to talk, okay? To shush and be quiet and be silent and just listen. And if it's not good, it's not God. And you're allowed to say, God, was that you? Ask for discernment. So not just the wisdom, but help me understand. If you're opening the Bible to just read one Bible verse, pray and say, help me understand what I'm doing with this. And so for those that have given it a try and just don't feel like he's present, maybe listen a little harder. Look for the little things that he's doing that you're just missing because you need some type of massive thing to happen when he does these little things.
He helps you find those car keys.
Yeah, he puts your car keys on, he stacks them on top of each other to show you that just keep trusting me. Keep coming, keep walking. Come on. He does a lot of, come on.
Yeah.
Usually it's two hands with me because I'm stubborn and undoing a lot of broken from my childhood and from my past, and again, a lot of it's self-inflicted. But yeah, just try to listen a little bit more than doing this, which is really hard for me.
2 ears.
Oh, that's
one mouth.
Oh, right on. That makes total sense. You mentioned Chaney. Bring up the challenge. There's a 21-day emotional health challenge where you pick an emotion, and we present you biblical truth, whether it's a song, a sermon, a meditation, a funny Facebook short, it's all biblical to help you work on a particular emotion. And one big part of that is kind of the science behind a certain emotion like loneliness or anxiety, and then what God says about the emotion. But it's a 21-day emotional health challenge. And so I can't wait to hear when you're finished. I can't wait to hear your testimony. And you're going to take it more than once. This isn't a 21 day and I'm fixed and I'm walking perfect and my feelings don't get hurt. So I'm really looking forward to getting the feedback for the folks that are in process, because we opened it up for testing a month ago, and that's that. You can do that by yourself if you're not comfortable walking in a building. Go to the online ministry. Go to the ministry in your hand to help you heal and really start transforming that baggage to a backstory, a beautiful backstory with lots of purpose. Hey, thanks for coming. Thank you, Chaney, for being here. Your story is incredible. I always love when we get together, because there's no loss for words ever when you put us in the same room. But we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a blessed week. Again, if you felt a tug and maybe God's talking to you today, go into the description and you'll see a Say Yes to Jesus link, and we'll walk you through exactly how you can start walking with our Lord. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye. I am so glad you stopped by. If you felt encouraged today, we have more to offer. Not Yet Christian is just one of the resources provided by Immeasurably More 320, a nonprofit ministry. For additional resources, please visit immeasurablymore320.com and swing by our store at whereyourjesus.com. Join us again next week for another episode of Not Yet Christian. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.